In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the Tech Zone.
Welcome back to the Tech Zone, Paul Amadeus Lane. So happy you decided to stay with me during the segment. You will not be disappointed. I'm going to be joined by the great Geoff Keighley. He's going to be talking about E3, gaming news, just everything gaming we're going to talk about and have a blast doing so. And don't forget, E3 is right around the corner. So make sure you're following me on social media, the Twitter, the Instagram, all my platforms, because we maybe even go live there as well too. I love doing live shots and live interviews right from the floor of E3 because it's raw. You just get people in the environment. They're just so excited. So make sure you follow me to find out if we're going to be doing that. It's going to be a surprise if we do it. So you have to make sure that you are all locked in and subscribed to all of the platforms out there. All right, without any further delay, let's bring on our very, very special guest. Guys, I am so excited to have this next guest join me. Had an opportunity to meet him last year at E3, producer, creator of the Game Awards and E3 Coliseum, my man, Geoff Keighley. What's going on, Geoff? How are you?
I'm doing well, Paul. Great to be on here. It's an honor.
Hey, let me tell you, man, you are a great interviewer. So, man, I'm kind of nervous right now because I don't have the chops that you have, so bear with me, my man. All right.
Okay, I'm ready for your questions. I'm in E3 mode, so I'm working on my questions for people. I deserve to be questioned as well.
There you go, my friend. So hey, we're a few weeks away from E3, man. So what's been the major buzz that you have really been keeping your finger on the pulse?
It's an interesting E3 with no PlayStation there, so it's going to be weird. I've been to every E3 since I was a kid, 1995 when E3 started, and the first E3 was the first year that PlayStation came out with PS1. So every E3 for 25 years, Sony has had a booth. So it's a little bittersweet for me to be going to E3. I kind of can't believe it that there won't be PlayStation at E3. So that's definitely going to be different. But look, it creates opportunities. It means that, Xbox has a big opportunity, Nintendo has a big opportunity. There'll be a lot of games there. So it's still going to be, I hope it's going to be a good show. But the loss of PlayStation is something that I think we know, but we're not really going to feel until we're in the hall and we're looking for the Sony booth and we can't find it.
No, you're spot on, my friend. Me and another journalist friend of mine was speaking about this. And it kind of reminds me now, I don't want to add a spoiler or anything out there. You've seen Avengers Endgame, right?
I have. Yes.
Okay. So we got this theory that it's going to be like kind of like the final scene where Captain Rogers look to your, look over to your right. And then we're going to see PlayStation there, like within maybe announced a week before they're going to be there. We're going to be hyped, but I don't know, man.
Holding out hope, right?
Yeah, trying to, man. But
I really, I know a lot of the developers and a lot of the folks there, and no one's really planning for it. They're kind of on their own cadence right now this year, and it's going to be very interesting because, look, Sony has a lot of games, coming out for PlayStation 4, and if they're not going to be at E3, sort of where are they going to be? When are they going to show up? And they started that State of Play show now, which is sort of like their version of Nintendo Direct. So, a lot of people are they going to do one of those before E3? But I think they said a few weeks ago we'll be back later this year, which made people think maybe there's not going to be one for E3. So I really don't know. I mean, maybe they're going to drop a video right around E3, but I tend to think that they're not going to. I think Sony is trying to be very respectful of the fact that they're not at E3. They're going to let other people focus on E3, and then there will come a place and a time when they talk about all their games, or maybe they're just going to do things on individual games more separately, which I think is something that more companies are doing now. Like Nintendo just did a Nintendo Direct, but it was all about Super Mario Maker 2. So I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting feeling, and as I said, I don't think any of us really know what to expect until we show up and we feel it. But for me, again, 25 years of going to E3, always having that PlayStation booth there with no Sony. It's going to feel strange.
Yeah, I feel it already, my friend, because I'm like, yeah, I'm still kind of in disbelief, by them not being there. But you brought up a good point about how this leaves the door open for other developers, other companies out there to really showcase what they have. And what do you think is going to be the takeaway from this E3? Any particular title? Any particular buzz? What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of talk about cloud, right? Streaming. We know Microsoft has Project X Cloud. Google has Stadia, which I think we're still kind of unclear on if they're going to be at E3 or not. They're going to have more information this summer on it. So I think that's going to be one sort of technology trend. We'll sort of see how that plays out in the years ahead. Game-wise, we just had a week of looking at a bunch of games last week here in LA with a bunch of the outlets that cover E3. There's going to be a lot of good games this year. And of course, we're expecting another Call of Duty to come out. Widely expected that Gears 5 from Microsoft will come out this year. Nintendo's got a lot of big games. They've actually announced a ton of stuff, like Animal Crossing and Luigi's Mansion that have been announced, but they haven't really shown a lot more on. Pokemon coming out this year. So there's going to be a lot of big stuff. I don't know if this is a year where there's like one game that's going to take over. Last year, Cyberpunk was the one that sort of everyone was talking about. They've announced they're going to be back at E3 again. So, we'll see more on that game. I kind of doubt that it's coming anytime soon. We'll see. But yeah, it's hard to say that there's one particular game that is like the one to sort of sweep E3, but maybe there'll be a surprise. Although increasingly, I think E3 has been less about surprises and more about kind of showing you the games that are coming for the holidays. Like last year, Nintendo was very deliberate in saying, hey, our Nintendo Direct is about games coming later in 2018. So, we'll see. That's always a balance between kind of what's coming this year, what's coming in the future. Obviously rumors that next year will bring us another PlayStation 5 or whatever they're going to call it and the next Xbox. So I think the biggest question mark is what is Microsoft going to say about its next Xbox at E3? Even though I don't think it's coming till next year. Lots of rumors around what that is. Sony's already put out some specs for the next gen PlayStation. So it would seem like E3 is probably a point where Microsoft would say something similar to the year when they revealed Project Scorpio, which then became the Xbox One X the next year. So that's probably potentially the biggest headline if Microsoft says something around that. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting year, and hopefully there's some surprise games. But regardless, there are going to be a lot of big things coming out later this year.
Jeff, let's talk about living up to the hype of E3 and E3 moments. I remember a few years back when Sony PlayStation had the intro for God of War, and we all just lost our mind, and the game lived up to the hype. What do you think about like when we were all hyped up about Project Scorpio and it finally came out? Do you think that lived up to the hype, and what kind of problems do different companies face when they may have this huge rollout of how it's going to be and not living up to the hype? Does it hurt the brand? Does it hurt the company?
Yeah, it's something that a lot of the companies are thinking about now, about sort of the promotional cycle as well. So, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, they just showed a trailer for that, last week, and that was years and years ago when they first teased it at the Sony press conference. So generally the promotional window is being compressed now, right? So you're seeing less games announced now with a CG trailer that don't come out for 2 or 3 years, and more like, Borderlands, which just announced a few weeks ago, and here it is coming out in September. So I think you're going to see more near-term games kind of demonstrated to sort of decrease, that sort of hype cycle, which it's hard to maintain hype for, 2 or 3 years on a big game. Project Scorpio, I think initially there was a lot of excitement around what that was going to represent. Microsoft did a pretty good job kind of selling the dream of Project Scorpio. I think, at the end of the day, the tale of the tape is that, the Xbox One X is maybe the most powerful gaming system. The PS4 Pro might be very powerful too, but I don't think a lot of people feel like they need those boxes. Most of my friends still have a regular PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One S, and they're totally fine, which is actually a tribute to the hardware and the technology that, God of War plays great on a regular PlayStation 4. So, this is supposedly going to be the true next generation leap next year with these new systems if they come out in 2020. But the thing that I think we have to wonder about is sort of how big will that leap be? Will it be incremental? Will it be monumental? And that's really, I think, a question a lot of gamers have, because PS4 Pro and Xbox One X certainly were leaps forward, but they were more incremental than a true generation shift. And I remember, it used to be we were shifting from 2D to 3D or standard definition to high definition graphics. And now things are a little more gradual, right? Systems are more backwards and forwards compatible in some cases. I think they're going to be new machines coming out, but they may be more iterative than in the past. We'll see. I mean, some of the things Sony has talked about with a solid state drive may impact gameplay and a lot, faster load screens, which is something that matters to a lot of us that play a lot of games. So we'll see. The hype cycle's hard to say. I mean, I think even if Microsoft talks about a new Xbox this year, I have to imagine Halo Infinite, which they teased last year, and I would imagine is probably a game that will come out for the next Xbox, at least, if not sort of only for that, I guess maybe for both systems. But we'll see. Everyone likes to get excited about what's next, so I'm sure there will be some teases to get us hyped, because that's why I love games, right? There's always something new. There's always something in the horizon beyond.
Well said. And when we look at just the experience of E3, you remember a few years ago when it got announced, because we would go as professionals, and when it got announced that they were going to open us up to the fans, we started to see kind of like a change on the floor, just a change in the experience. And one of the things that I like that has been added to E3 is the E3 Coliseum, which you oversee and produce and create. So talk about what we have to look forward to this year with the E3 Coliseum.
Yeah, E3 Coliseum we started 3 years ago, and it was something that really meant a lot to me, because E3 is a great moment for the industry, but fans were added. And my whole life, I've been really lucky to get to know a lot of these game creators, spend time with them, interview them, of course, play their games. But for the regular fan, they don't get a chance to see these creators up close and personal very often throughout the year. So Coliseum was really birthed out of the idea of bringing fans closer to the game creators they love. So we do 3 days of panels and conversations with all the top games that come and meet with 2,000 fans. Every hour we have different games that come through. But beyond that, it was also important for me to kind of reflect the important role games play in popular culture. My firm belief is that games are the most powerful form of entertainment in the world. So Coliseum became a place for top film directors, musicians, actors to come and show an appreciation of gaming. And some of the sessions I've been most proud of over the years have had special guests come by, like Jack Black's going to be coming by this year and doing his Jablinski games live on stage with us. So we have lots of special guests, the biggest games. And then also, we try and address important issues in the industry. And we had a great forum last year on accessibility in games that I was honored to have you lead, actually, as our moderator. So we try and kind of talk about topics that matter to gamers, matter to the industry, have great game developers up there and special guests. And I hope kind of across those 3 days, it's just something that's completely unique and different than just sitting there and playing games. It's a chance to actually talk about games and learn about our industry.
What I like, too, about it, Geoff, is I like for the younger generation to go to the Coliseum, because it kind of lets them see this industry as something they can strive for, they can train and maybe get into when they hear different stories from the developers that they may not hear, just being at the booth or in other forums like that. So I think this is a very valuable resource for the next generation to learn about gaming, to learn the backstories, to really understand what it takes to put these different gaming this gaming experience together. And I think it's awesome what you guys are doing out there. And Geoff, I want to put you on the spot, because last year the Game Awards was awesome. You guys doubled streaming. It was awesome. You had Reggie, Phil, and Sean on the stage at the same time. I want to know, if I can put you on the spot right now, are we going to have one this year, 2019? team. Let's see if we can break it here live.
Is Game Awards coming back?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We'll be doing Game Awards again.
Awesome.
Definitely going to happen. Yeah. Look, it's something I hope happens for year in the future, right? I mean, when I started the Game Awards, the idea was not to, begin it and stop it. It was really to kind of build year after year. So this year's our 5th anniversary of the show. And yeah, we've been working all year to kind of bring this show to life. I think sometimes people don't realize how many months it takes to put together a show like the Game Awards. So yeah, we're very deep into production on this year's show. We'll be sharing more kind of throughout the summer on it. But yeah, my hope is that every December we will bring the show back and keep building, right? And I think that's one thing that's really important to me is that it's a great show that, has meaning to everyone that plays games, but also spreads games around the world to as many countries as possible. So we did a lot last year in China. We'll be expanding to more countries this year. We'll talk more about that this summer. But I see the Game Awards as the most important thing that I do, the best way I can sort of give back to the industry. So absolutely, it will be back this year and for many years in the future. That statue that we build, I hope it's something that's going to outlive me in my lifetime and kind of continue to go on year after year. So yeah, I would do almost anything to make sure that we have a Game Awards every year. And I feel the pressure to make sure that we keep building it and make it better and better every year. So last year was an incredible year. And I sometimes struggle with how we top ourselves because it was just so spectacular last year. I was so happy with the show last year. And it was one of those ones where, building those shows is it's a very personal experience and a lot of sacrifice involved and kind of bringing that to life. And last year was especially sort of difficult year for me on a lot of levels to bring it to life. But we did it, and I was really proud of what we put together. And now we just got to make it even better this year. So we've been working very hard to get to that point.
Awesome. I'm sure looking forward to it, Geoff. And before I let you go, I would be derelict in my duties if I didn't say, how cool was it to hang out with Hideo Kojima and just chill with him, go to dinner with him? I know you've done it before, but I saw on social media, man, you guys had a blast. How was it, man?
Hideo is just such a great person. And even though there's a language barrier between us, we just have such mutual respect for each other. I just saw him a few weeks ago in New York City. We spent some time together around the Tribeca Film Festival. Almost been 20 years that we've worked together in one form or another. I think we have been through a lot of the same things in our personal life. I think we've been through a lot of things, even sort of in our business lives, of sort of leaving big companies, starting on our own. He did that with Konami. I did that when I left Viacom to kind of create the Game Awards. So, we have a lot in common. And he's just such a creative thinker, but at the end of the day is also one of the most loyal and trustworthy friends. He sort of has never let me down. And it means a lot to me that he's always there for me. He's always supported me. He's never questioned me. He's never judged me. And I try and do the same for him. I'm just so excited about what he's doing with Death Stranding, what he represents to our industry. I think sometimes people don't realize how visible Kojima is in popular culture. Like when we were at the Tribeca Film Festival, Robert De Niro is coming up and saying hello to him. It's at a party after, and like Jamie Foxx and Katie Holmes wanted to come up and say hi to Hideo Kojima, and just all these folks, know of him and know of his work. And he really is, I think, besides probably Shigeru Miyamoto, kind of our most well-known game creator. And he is a true auteur, right? I mean, it's like it is a Hideo Kojima game. And that's different than a lot of other games that are, built kind of more fully by these collaborative teams. But Hideo he's just wholly unique. And I'm glad that our industry can support a creator like that who has such vision and drive to build a different kind of game. And I think that's what people will find with Death Stranding. It's a very different game. But that's what he wants to do. He's not going to keep making, Metal Gear games. He's going to make something completely different. And I'm proud to support him in that. And, the game looks phenomenal. And, I can't wait for people to see more of it. So he's a great person. He makes great games, as we all know. But at the end of the day, he's just a really incredible person. I've I've been honored to sort of cover as a journalist, but also know as a friend. And I can't say enough good things about him.
Awesome. Thank you so much for opening up about your relationship with him. That's truly awesome. So, Geoff Keighley, what is your favorite game of all time? Let's make some people mad. Let's make Fanboy mad on the social media. Favorite game of all time?
My favorite game of all time is probably a game that a lot of people haven't played because I'm getting old now. But I got to say, for me, I really grew up loving a lot of the old adventure games on personal computers. So there was a game called The Secret of Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge, which was a LucasArts adventure game, this pirate-themed adventure starring Guybrush Threepwood. It was an old adventure game, and it really kind of got me excited about the storytelling potential of games. I was a young kid playing this in my family living room. My brother and I would sometimes play these games together, and it was just so magical. And I look back at that game very fondly because I remember the feeling I felt playing that and how excited I was about the idea of video games, and how much it meant to me as a young kid who was trying to find his place in the world, that I could play a game like that, have an incredible adventure and experience. And now to be a part of the industry and help drive the industry forward through things like the Game Awards. I always think back to playing Monkey Island and that magical moment of realization of the power of this medium. And it's only gotten better and more immersive and richer. So, favorite game of all time, I think, is Monkey Island 2.
Awesome. Well, Geoff, great catching up with you, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks at E3, man, and get a chance to say hello. But looking forward to seeing all the productions that you are a part of. And thank you so much for taking time out and chatting with us about E3, man.
No, thank you, Paul. And thank you for all that you do to advocate for this industry. And, I'm so proud that we have people like you that are flying the flag for what our industry can represent to the world. It's such a good group of people that play games and make games. That's why I've honestly never really wanted to do anything else in my life but be a part of this industry, because I'm just so proud of what it represents and people like you that show us the potential of this medium to impact everyone. So thanks for all that you do. Thanks for your help last year at E3. And yes, we will see you in a few weeks. Just don't wear your Sony hat.
I probably, I promise, because I might get beat up if I have it on. But thank you, my friend. Great catching up with you. A huge shout out to my friend, Geoff Keighley. Make sure you check him out during E3 and after. Great content, great conversations, and it's time for me to make like a tree and get out of here. And don't forget, follow me. During E3, I'm going to do some interesting things. We're also going to be shooting portions of the show live from E3 too. All right, until next time, folks, I love you guys. Take care.
In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone.